I'm the pariah of my friend group, and all because I did what I thought was the right thing. I reported one of my closest friends for harassment, and now I've been kicked to the curb like I'm the criminal. The worst part? A part of me actually wonders if I made a terrible mistake, because losing all your friends in one blow like this messes with your head. Let me back up and explain. I, 17F, had a tight-knit friend group of 6 people. 3 girls, including me, and 3 guys, all juniors in high school. We've been inseparable for the past 2 years. We eat lunch together, hang out on weekends, the whole deal. One of those guys, let's call him Ryan, 17M, was someone I considered like a brother, at least until recently. Over the last few months, Ryan's behavior toward me changed. It started out subtle. He'd make little comments that made me uncomfortable, like remarking on my clothes, or how I looked in a way that felt off. Not exactly compliments, more like sexual jokes disguised as teasing. For example, if I wore a V-neck shirt, he'd say, "Trying to get someone's attention?" with this sleazy grin. He'd stand too close, find excuses to touch me, like putting his hand on my lower back when squeezing by, or grabbing my shoulders during conversation. I hated it, but I brushed it off, or laughed awkwardly, because confronting him outright felt impossible. He was my friend. Weren't we supposed to be comfortable around each other? Maybe I was overreacting? Things escalated at a house party one of our friends threw about a month ago. We were all a bit buzzed. Yeah, underage drinking at a parent-free party. Real smart, I know. At one point, I was alone in the kitchen getting some water, and Ryan came in, clearly tipsy. He cornered me against the counter, leaning in way too close. I could smell the beer on his breath as he murmured, "You know, you look really hot tonight." I tried to push past him, laughing it off, but he didn't budge. Instead, he pressed up against me. My alarm bells were ringing loud now. He lowered his voice and said in my ear, "I bet I could make you feel even better than your ex did." I broke up with my ex a couple months prior, something Ryan knew I was sensitive about. I froze in panic as his hand casually slid down my side towards my butt. That snapped me out of it. I shoved him hard and blurted, "Back the hell off, Ryan." He stepped back, hands raised like, "Whoa, crazy lady," and laughed. Actually laughed. "Relax, I'm kidding," he said loudly, like it was all just a big joke. My heart was pounding, and I felt humiliated, but a couple of our friends walked in at that moment and looked at us like, "What's going on?" I was mortified and just mumbled, "Ryan's being an asshole," before bolting out of the room. I grabbed my stuff and left the party early, tears already welling up once I was safely outside. The next few days, I avoided the group at school. I was a mess. Angry, embarrassed, confused. Part of me wanted to pretend it never happened, but another part was furious that one of my best friends had treated me that way. I eventually texted Ryan, telling him how out of line he was and that he better never touch me again. He replied with a half-assed apology, "Sorry if I made one comfortable. I was drunk, don't even remember what I said. But if you say I crossed the line, I'm sorry." It didn't feel sincere. It felt like he was trying to sweep it under the rug. Our other friends sensed something was off. My closest friend in the group, Lisa, 17F, asked why I was acting so distant. I confided in her about what happened at the party. She was shocked, but then quickly tried to minimize it. Maybe he really was just drunk and joking. He's an idiot when he drinks. She saw my face and added, "What he did was super not okay, I agree. But you know Ryan. He's immature. He probably thought he was being funny. Or maybe he was trying to hit on you stupidly. I'm sure he didn't mean to scare you." I didn't feel reassured. If anything, I felt a bit betrayed that Lisa wasn't as outraged as I was. Still, she advised me to talk it out with Ryan sober, maybe with another friend present, and said she'd come with me if I wanted. At the time, I agreed to maybe try, but I kept delaying actually doing it. I wasn't ready to face him. Then came the incident that pushed everything over the edge. About 2 weeks after the party, a few of us, including me and Ryan, stayed late at school to work on decorations for an event. At some point, I was alone in the storage room, sorting banners, when guess who came in? Ryan. My guard went up immediately. He closed the door behind him. My stomach dropped, and in a low voice said, "Are you still mad about that night? You've been avoiding me like the plague." I told him I didn't want to talk about it and tried to leave, but he moved to block the door. There was this fake, pleasant look on his face, but his eyes. I could tell he was angry underneath. "Come on," he insisted. "Tell me what's wrong. You've been painting me as some villain, and it's not fair." The gall of him saying he's being treated unfairly made my blood boil. I snapped back. "You really don't get it, do you? You grabbed me and cornered me. And you think I'm treating you unfairly?" Ryan's face went cold. He stepped closer, looming over me. "I said I was sorry." He hissed. "What else do you want? You gonna keep bitching about this forever?" I was stunned at his hostility. My voice shook, but I told him, "Just move. I want to get out." He leaned in, his voice dropping to a whisper. "Or what? You'll run and tell someone? You gonna ruin my life, my name?" He practically spit my name out. My heart was thudding like a drum. "If you ever lay a finger on me again, I will report you," I managed to say, trying to sound braver than I felt. He stared me down with this contempt in his eyes I had never seen before, then finally scoffed and moved aside. "Whatever," he muttered as I pushed past him. I was just kidding around. You're really gonna make a big deal out of nothing. I went straight home, shaking all over. That night, after countless tears and an anxious call with another friend, outside of this group, who urged me to do something, I made a decision. I reported Ryan. I went to our school's guidance counselor the next morning and told her everything. I also wrote it up in an official complaint, detailing both the party incident and the storage room confrontation. It was the scariest thing I've ever done. My hands wouldn't stop trembling as I handed in the form. Things moved quickly after that, in some ways at least. The school launched an investigation, which basically meant they interviewed Ryan and others who were at the party. They also interviewed Lisa, since I had told them she knew. I hadn't expected them to pull her in, and she was upset at me afterwards, saying she'd been put on the spot. Ryan, of course, denied everything. He told our other friends that I was overreacting and misremembering because I was drunk. I wasn't that drunk. He downplayed the party incident as just trying to flirt and flat out lied about the storage room, claiming we just talked and that I blew up at him for no reason. The school couldn't find any solid evidence beyond my word against his. No cameras in the storage room, and at the party, it was dark and noisy, and no one directly witnessed the cornering part, just me yelling at him to back off. In the end, the school gave him a warning and told us to avoid each other. That's it, a slap on the wrist. But the real fallout was outside of the school's actions. It was with my friend group. The moment Ryan got wind that I had actually reported him, he and others basically excommunicated me. Overnight, I was removed from our group chat. Lisa and a couple of others stopped answering my texts. When I tried to call Lisa to explain my side, she sent me to voicemail and later texted, "I need some time. This is a lot." Finally, one of my other friends, Jake, 18M, who I was less close to, sent me a long message. He said he wanted to give me a heads up that most of the group was really upset that I got the school involved. According to him, they all felt I should have handled it within the group, talked it out, etc. Jake said he personally didn't know what to believe about what happened, since he wasn't there, but that either way involving teacher/admin felt like a betrayal to the group. He wrote, and I quote, "You broke the trust we all had. Now none of us feel safe around you. What if one of us pisses you off and you try to get us suspended or something?" I couldn't even finish reading that without shaking in anger and disbelief. They don't feel safe around me? I wrote back a heated reply, saying I felt unsafe with Ryan and that I tried to handle it privately, but he basically threatened me, so what else was I supposed to do? Jake left me on read. The next day at school was like walking into a war zone where I was the lone enemy. My friends, no, scratch that, these people, avoided me like I had the plague. When I approached the table at lunch that we always shared, everyone went quiet. Lisa wouldn't even look at me. I asked quietly if I could talk to her, and she just mumbled, "Not now." Ryan, on the other hand, gave me a glare and then completely turned his back, continuing his conversation loudly with another friend as if I didn't exist. One of the other girls, Priya, finally said, "Maybe you should find somewhere else to sit." My eyes burned with tears as I looked at these people who had been my best friends a week ago, now staring at me like I was a stranger or a monster. I walked away without another word, my face burning with embarrassment. Since that day, I've been eating lunch in the library alone. No one in our circle is talking to me. Actually, scratch that. Two of them, Jake and another guy, Dan, did approach me separately just to basically say, "No hard feelings, but we can't be on your side here." It was the most cowardly, backhanded thing. We're not against you, but we're not with you. They're all terrified of choosing sides, and since the majority, and the loudest voice, Ryan, is against me, they all fell in line behind him. Even Lisa, the girl who was supposed to be my best friend. I feel utterly alone. I keep second-guessing everything. One minute I'm furious at them for abandoning me. The next I'm doubting myself, wondering if I really did overdramatize things. But then I remember how it felt being trapped in that storage room, Ryan's breath on my face, the way he mocked me for even considering asking for help. And I know I had to do what I did, so why do I feel so guilty? I think the guilt comes from the social fallout. Because now I'm the snitch, the traitor, the crazy girl who cries harassment. I've heard those phrases whispered in the halls. Yes, word spread beyond our group. High school gossip is wildfire. Some people side-eye me with contempt, others with pity. I hate both. My mental health is in the gutter. I'm not sleeping well. I jump every time my phone buzzes, half expecting more angry messages from my ex-friends. Or worse, some kind of retaliation from Ryan. I dread going to school, but my parents don't fully understand. I haven't told them the whole truth, just that there was a fight with friends. And academically, this is an important year, so I can't just drop out or transfer easily, especially not with only a couple months of school left. I did try to reach out one more time to Lisa, begging her to hear me out. We finally talked, and it was heartbreaking. She admitted she believed something happened with Ryan, and that he was wrong to make me uncomfortable. But she said I took it too far by reporting him. She kept saying things like, "You know how he is. You know he didn't mean it in a bad way. Now his reputation is ruined. He almost got suspended." To be clear, he didn't. The school gave him basically a pass. She also said the group was angry I didn't warn them or try harder to mediate within the group before going nuclear. I asked her if she remembered that she herself had suggested we talk to him together, and that I'd been too shaken. She just said, "I know, I didn't think you'd actually go to the school. I would have tried to help more if I knew you were going to do that." That line hurt. It felt like she was blaming me for not giving her a chance to play peacemaker, as if this whole falling out was my fault for being too dramatic and going to authorities. The conversation ended with me asking, tears in my eyes, "So you're choosing him over me?" Lisa looked torn, but said softly, "I'm not choosing anyone. I just think we all need to move on from this. It's too much drama." That was basically my answer. In trying not to choose, she chose him. So that's where I'm at, ostracized, depressed, and questioning if I'll have any friends by the end of junior year. My only solace is a couple of friends outside that group who have stuck by me, one from my art class, who doesn't really know the others, and an older friend who graduated last year and has been supportive via text. But in school, every day is hell. Ryan struts around like he's the victim, and I'm like a ghost. I posted here because I genuinely don't know how to handle this. How do I deal with the fact that doing the right thing, at least what I strongly felt was right, left me with no one? How do I cope with the friends I love treating me like I'm the villain? I wonder if I should have just kept quiet. But then I think, if I did, I'd be telling him it's okay to treat me, or any girl, like that. And it's not. I'm so emotionally exhausted and hurt. Any advice or perspective would be appreciated. I'll update if anything significant happens, but honestly, I feel like I've already lost nearly everything. To be continued. Update 1. Hi everyone. It's been about a week since my original post, and I wish I could say things have gotten better. They haven't. If anything, the social situation has gotten even more twisted. First, a huge thank you for all the supportive comments and messages. I needed to hear that I'm not insane for reporting what happened. Some of you asked if any of my old friends reached out privately, or if I had any allies. Well, one of them did, sort of. A couple days after I posted, I got a DM from Dan, one of the guys in the group who had given me the whole "no hard feelings but we can't side with you" spiel. He basically said he felt bad about how things went down. He admitted he did believe that Ryan probably crossed a line with me. Apparently, Ryan had bragged to the guys in the group chat after the party that he tried to shoot his shot with me and I overreacted. Hearing that made my blood boil. Dan said he felt guilty for not speaking up when I got blamed for everything. For a split second, I felt a surge of hope. Finally, someone from the group acknowledging the truth, but that hope deflated by the end of his message. He went on to say that even so, he doesn't want to get in the middle of this conflict and hopes I can understand why he's staying out of it. He ended with, "I'm sorry for what you went through. I just don't want any drama. I didn't even know how to respond. Thanks for telling me, and by the way, thanks for nothing." I ended up just writing, "I understand. Thanks for letting me know at least," and left it at that. It was painfully clear he's going to keep sitting on the fence. Honestly, that hurt. Dan was always a laid-back kind guy, and I thought if anyone might actually have my back, it would be him. Instead, he chose self-preservation. I get it, I do, but it still stings. If that was the supportive response, you can imagine how the others are. In short, ice cold. Lisa still hasn't so much as texted me again. I passed her in the hallway yesterday and managed a small, sad smile, and she just looked away. That one hit me hard. Then there's the rumor mill. Oh boy, some of the stuff going around is insane. Apparently a story is being floated, undoubtedly by Team Ryan, that I blew the incident out of proportion because I secretly had a crush on Ryan, and he rejected me. So I retaliated by making up the harassment. The sheer absurdity of that would almost be funny if it weren't so devastating to my reputation. I found out about this rumor from a friend outside the group, who heard 2 girls in her math class gossiping that I tried to hook up with Ryan but he wasn't into her, and now she's crying assault. I corrected my friend with the truth, of course, and thankfully she believed me, but who knows how many others have heard and believed Ryan's twisted version. I feel so damn isolated. People I don't even know that well are keeping their distance. One of my teammates in yearbook, we'd always been friendly, is suddenly acting cold too. Maybe she's closer to Priya and heard their side. It's like this poison has spread through not just my friend group, but the whole social circle around it. Another incident. I attempted to join an after-school study group I used to be part of with Priya and some other classmates, totally separate from the friend group drama, or so I thought. When I showed up, Priya gave me this surprised, "Oh, hi," and the atmosphere turned awkward. During the session, everyone was stiff and formal. I later got the sense from one of the nicer girls that Priya had told them I might cause drama or something if I came. I ended up leaving early, fighting back tears. I can't even study with peers without feeling like an outcast now. I also learned that Lisa did something I never expected. She apparently gave a statement to the school investigator, downplaying what I told her. She basically told the admin that I had mentioned Ryan made me uncomfortable at the party, but that I seemed to be okay the next day, and that I hadn't described it as an assault or anything to her, just that Ryan was drunk and weird. That's technically true. I was somewhat vague with Lisa initially because I was embarrassed, but she knew how upset I was. I poured my heart out to her more later on. The fact she framed it like it was no big deal crushes me. Maybe she thought she was helping Ryan, or maybe she convinced herself it wasn't that bad. Either way, hearing from a friendly teacher who's in the loop that one of your friends kind of downplayed things in her interview hurt like hell. That was Lisa. I feel it like a betrayal. Interestingly, I also got a random message request on Instagram From a freshman girl I barely know. She said she heard what happened with me and Ryan, and that she believed me. Apparently, Ryan used to make creepy comments at her when she was a new kid, volunteering as an equipment manager for the boys' soccer team, which Ryan is on. She said she never reported it because she didn't think anyone would take a freshman seriously over a popular junior, but she wanted me to know, you're not the only one he's been gross to. I literally started sobbing when I read that. I thanked her and told her she should consider speaking to the counselor too if she feels up to it, even if anonymously. She hasn't responded to that yet, and I won't push her. But just knowing this while validating also infuriates me more. My friend's precious golden boy has a pattern, and they're all enabling him. So now I'm stuck with all this information and anger, and nowhere for it to go. The school can't do much more unless others come forward or new evidence emerges. And socially, I'm persona non grata no matter what truth I have on my side. I feel like I should do something with this new info, like the freshman story, but I worry if I tell anyone, it will somehow blow back on her or just be seen as me digging for more dirt to throw at Ryan. That's how twisted the narrative has become. Anything I do is seen as an attack or drama. Some of you suggested finding new friends or leaning on other circles. I am trying. I've started sitting with a couple of girls from my art class at lunch, instead of hiding in the library. They're not super close friends, more like friendly acquaintances, and I haven't unloaded all this on them obviously. I just said I had a falling out with my old group. They didn't pry, which I appreciated. It's nice just not eating completely alone. Emotionally, I'm still on a roller coaster. Sometimes I feel righteous fury. Like, screw those people, I don't need them. Other times I feel crushing sadness because I miss them, even the ones who betrayed me. I miss how things were before, and I hate that I miss them. As for Ryan, he keeps swaggering around school like nothing happened. I avoid him, but I still hear things. Yesterday, I walked by him joking with a couple of my former friends by the lockers, and I caught a snippet as I passed. He said in a mock whisper, "Careful, or she'll report you too." Then a couple of them started laughing. They wanted me to hear it. I just kept walking, heart hammering, face on fire. It took everything in me not to turn around and scream at them. I'm trying to focus on classes and upcoming finals, to just survive the day-to-day until I can be out of this environment. But I can't lie, this has been one of the worst periods of my life. I don't know what's going to happen next. Part of me thinks they'll just continue to ignore me and let me fade away, which honestly might be the best outcome at this point. But another part worries that something else is brewing. The way Ryan and a couple of the others were snickering when I walked by, I don't know. My gut says the drama isn't truly over yet, even if I desperately want it to be. I'll update again if anything major occurs. For now, I'm holding on by a thread, hoping that maybe time will heal some of this, or at least that karma is real. Update 2 to follow. Update 2. My gut feeling was right. The drama wasn't over. In fact, it all came to a head 2 days after my last update, and it was worse than I imagined. Lisa approached me after school that day, out of the blue. She caught me by my locker as I was packing up, and to my surprise, she actually smiled at me, albeit nervously. She said, "Hey, can we talk? Maybe off campus?" I was thinking we could grab a coffee or something. I was so stunned, I just nodded. She added, "I talked to the others. We all think it'd be good to clear the air." Alarm bells were ringing in my mind. This seemed oddly easy, almost too good to be true, but this was Lisa, my former best friend. A part of me was desperate to believe she was finally coming around. I agreed to meet her at a small park a few blocks from school. It's a quiet place, usually empty on weekdays. I arrived first and sat on a bench, heart pounding. I was anxious, but also hopeful that maybe, just maybe, my friends wanted to reconcile, or at least talk things out calmly. That hope shattered almost immediately. I saw not only Lisa approaching, but behind her were Ryan, Jake, Priya, and another girl from our group. Essentially everyone except Dan, the one who had DM'd me. Maybe he had the decency not to come to this garbage meeting. They all walked over together, a united front. My stomach dropped. Hi, I started, standing up. No one smiled. Lisa wouldn't meet my eyes. Ryan looked angry, Jake looked uncomfortable, and Priya just folded her arms like she was beyond over it. Ryan spoke first, voice cold and mocking. "So, you wanted to talk?" he said, acting like this was my idea. I opened my mouth, searching for words. Lisa said you all wanted to clear the air." Lisa finally looked at me, but her eyes were devoid of the warmth I once knew. "We do," she said quietly. "This needs to end, my name." I noticed Jake pull out his phone, almost casually. He wasn't aiming it at me like, obviously, recording, but he held it in front of him, and I could see his camera was on. My heart started thumping even harder. Were they recording this? "What's with the phone?" I asked sharply. Jake shrugged. "Don't worry about it," he muttered. I did worry about it, but I also realized I was outnumbered, and this was looking more like an inquisition than a reconciliation. Ryan stepped forward, crossing his arms. "We're here because we want to give you a chance," he said, dripping with false magnanimity. "A chance to fix what you did." "Excuse me?" I said, anger and nerves colliding in my chest. "Fix? What?" Priya jumped in. "You tore this group apart, my name. None of us have been the same since you pulled that stunt." My eyes widened. "Pulled that stunt? You mean reporting being harassed? That's the stunt?" There was a collective eye roll, like I was being unbearably dramatic again. I noticed Lisa flinch at my tone, like it was physically hurting her to hear me defend myself. "Look," Ryan said, voice hard, "you can't take a joke. I apologize for making you uncomfortable. What I did wasn't assault or whatever buzzword you used. You know it, and I know it. My face felt hot. You call pinning me and groping me a joke? You threatened me, Ryan. How can you stand here and... He threw up a hand to cut me off. God, you're still on that? You really convinced yourself I'm some predator, huh? His eyes flashed with anger. You're pathetic. I glanced around at the others. Jake was looking at the ground. Priya was staring daggers at me. Lisa had tears in her eyes, but she was silent. I addressed Lisa, desperate. Lisa, you know what happened. Why are you doing this? She bit her lip. I want things back to normal, she whispered. Ryan snorted. Back to normal? That ship has sailed. Not until little Miss Victim here sets things right. I felt something inside me crack. Sets things right? What do you even want from me? Jake finally spoke, still holding his phone. Maybe you could tell the school you made a mistake. That it was a misunderstanding. My mouth fell open. You want me to recant? Lie and say I made it up? Priya stepped closer, her face twisted in disgust. All you have to do is tell everyone you overreacted. That it wasn't what you thought. Clear Ryan's name. Is that so hard? If you ever cared about any of us, you'd do it, my name. I literally could not believe what I was hearing. A red haze of anger and disbelief blurred my vision. You'd like that, wouldn't you? I shouted. It'd make life easier for all of you if I just admit to being a liar. Then you can all go back to laughing and partying with Ryan like nothing happened. Well, I won't. I'm not lying to protect him or to make you feel comfortable. Ryan's face contorted with fury. You stupid bitch, he spat, stepping right up to me. You already told your lies, and everyone saw through them. You think any of us, or anyone at school, really buys your bullshit? You ruined everything. You ruined our friendship. You tried to ruin my life. For what? Some attention? Because you can't handle that I flirted with you, and you're so frigid you thought it was assault? I flinched like he'd slapped me. Tears were pricking my eyes, but I refused to let them fall in front of them. Go to hell, Ryan, I hissed. I told the truth, and you know it. He actually laughed in my face. The truth? Please. The truth is you're a backstabbing, pathetic little girl who can't get over herself. We all see it now. Behind him, Priya muttered. Always has to be the center of drama. And Jake shook his head, still not meeting my gaze. Then Ryan said something that actually made my blood run cold. If you don't fix this, my name, I can make your life even worse. You think you're a pariah now? Just wait. We'll make sure everyone knows just what kind of person you are. Is that a threat? I managed to choke out. He smirked. A promise. I looked at Lisa, pleading one last time with my eyes, hoping she'd intervene, tell him to stop, something. But she just wiped a tear from her cheek, looking broken and small and saying nothing. At this point, I noticed Jake's phone still up, clearly recording now, pointed right at me. Something in me snapped. Turn that off! I shouted, reaching toward the phone. He jerked back like I was attacking him. Whoa, see? She's crazy, Priya said loudly, presumably for the recording's benefit. We're just trying to talk, and she's screaming. I couldn't believe it. They were staging this, trying to get me on camera, looking unhinged. Give it up, Ryan sneered. No one's on your side. Just apologize. Take it all back. And you can maybe salvage whatever dignity you have left. I backed away, sudden clarity cutting through my panic. I realized nothing I say or do here will change their minds or get my friends back. They weren't here to reconcile. They were here to break me. And maybe they already had. I looked at each of them in turn, my vision watery. These were the people I'd loved, like family. I almost didn't recognize them now. Or maybe I didn't recognize myself. I'm done, I said hoarsely. I have nothing else to say to any of you. With that, I turned and walked away. Behind me, I heard Ryan shout, Yeah, that's right, run away! And Priya calling me a coward. I think I heard Lisa sobbing, but I didn't turn back. I walked straight to my car and drove away, shaking and crying so hard I could barely see. I don't even know if Jake's video caught my outburst or what they plan to do with that recording. At this point, I don't care. They can post it, edit it, twist it however they want. Most people already believe them over me anyway.